I was parked outside our apartment building, the engine humming quietly as my fingers hovered over the steering wheel. My phone buzzed on the passenger seat. Jessica's name lit up the screen. Midnight calls were not unusual for her lately, but something in my gut twisted. I picked up. Before I could even say a word, she was sobbing loud, raw, almost theatrical. We were getting a divorce. Her voice cracked, but there was something strange about it. Like she was forcing herself to sound more broken than she actually felt. What? I blinked hard, gripping the steering wheel tighter. Jess, what are you talking about? I see not, I just see not, Adam. I'm sorry, I see not do this anymore. The line went dead. I stared at the phone in disbelief. My breath shallow, my mind racing. Divorce out of nowhere. No fight, no discussion, just done. I scrambled to call her back. No answer. Again, nothing. I raced upstairs, heart pounding. But when I opened the door, the apartment was dark, eerily silent. Her coat was gone. So were her keys. My head spun. I paced the living room, trying to piece together what the hell just happened. That's when I noticed her iPad on the coffee table. Jessica never left her devices behind. Never. I hesitated for a moment. Then I grabbed it. It was not locked. My hands shook as I opened her messages. That's when I saw it. The thread that would flip my world upside down. Jake Morrison, the Jake Morrison, a list actor, Hollywood's golden boy, every magazine cover for the past 5 years. And there it was right in front of me. Messages. Hundreds of them. Photos. Voice notes. Months of conversation. I felt like someone had punched me in the gut. See, not wait to see you tonight. Wear that red dress. You know the one. Last night was unforgettable, baby. I keep thinking about your lips on mine. I'll send a car for you. Do not keep me waiting too long, winky face. The last message was from tonight. Come over. Now. My mouth went dry. She was not just cheating on me. She was cheating on me with him. Jake Morrison, the guy she always gushed about during our Netflix marathons. The guy she swore was just her harmless celebrity crush. A bitter laugh escaped me. Harmless, right? I kept scrolling, rage building with every text. She had been lying to me for months while I was working late nights to afford her weekend spa trips and designer shoes. She was slipping into some A-lister's bed. Then I found the voicemail. Hey babe. Jake's voice purred through the speaker. See, not wait to have you all to myself tonight. Dump the loser already. He's holding you back. You deserve better than some nobody. Some nobody. That's what I was to him. What I was to her. Could not breathe. My chest felt tight. I needed answers. Now, without thinking, I opened the Find My app connected to all our devices. Jessica's phone was across town in Beverly Hills. I knew exactly where. Jake Morrison's mansion. I did not hesitate. I grabbed my keys and drove like a madman through the empty streets. My mind was a storm of fury and confusion. I did not even have a plan. What was I going to do? Kick down the door and demand an explanation? Punch a Hollywood actor in the face? All I knew was I needed to see her. To hear her admit it. When I pulled up to Jake's gate, I expected security cameras something. But the gate was open. Like they were not expecting anyone to be crazy enough to show up uninvited. I parked down the street, heart thundering, and walked up the long driveway. The lights inside the house were dimmed, but I could hear music. Soft, romantic. I approached the front door and, to my surprise, it was not locked. I pushed it open slowly, stepping inside. The living room was empty. But there were 2 glasses of wine on the coffee table. One with a lipstick stain. Her shade. Then I heard footsteps upstairs. Laughter. Hers. Followed by a low, sultry chuckle that was not mine. My fists clenched. I moved quietly, my pulse deafening in my ears. At the top of the stairs, I saw a door slightly ajar. Light poured from the crack, and I could hear them clearly now. Jake, you insane. Jessica giggled. What if he finds out? Let him, Jake whispered. What's he gonna do? Cry about it. Forget him, baby. You mine now. Something inside me snapped. I pushed the door open. Jessica froze mid-laugh, eyes wide in shock. Jake, shirtless and smug, leaned back against the headboard like he did not have a care in the world. Adam, Jessica gasped. What are you? What am I doing here? I cut her off, my voice shaking with barely contained rage. No, Jessica. What the hell are you doing here? She blinked, opening her mouth, but no words came out. Jake chuckled. Well, this is awkward, he said with a lazy grin. Shut up. I snapped, glaring at him before turning back to Jessica. Tell me, right now. She hesitated, then straightened her back, her expression shifting from shock to something colder, something I never thought I'd see in the woman I loved. I'm leaving you, Adam, she said, her voice eerily calm now. Jake's right, Yuri holding me back. The room spun. I stared at her, hoping, praying. This was some sick joke, but her eyes, there was no love there, no remorse, just indifference. Are you serious right now? I whispered. After everything. After us, Jake stretched lazily. Buddy, take the hint. She moved on. I ignored him, focusing on her. Why, Jess, was I not enough? Did I do something wrong? Just tell me. She rolled her eyes. God, Adam, do not make this harder than it needs to be. I fell in love with someone else. Deal with it. My world crumbled around me, but I was not ready to walk away. Not yet. I stood there, frozen in the doorway, trying to comprehend the words that just came out of Jessica's mouth. I fell in love with someone else. Deal with it. The casual cruelty in her voice cut deeper than I thought possible. This was not the woman I married, or maybe I never really knew her at all. Jake smirked, clearly amused by the unfolding drama. He reached over, brushing a strand of Jessica's hair behind her ear like I was not even there. Babe, why do not you tell him the rest? He came all this way. He deserves the full show. Jessica laughed softly, a sound that used to make my heart swell. Now it made me sick. She slid off the bed, pulling a silk robe over her barely there lingerie. She walked toward me slowly, almost like she was savoring this moment. The moment she broke me, Adam, let us not pretend this was perfect. She said, tilting her head. I mean, come on. You've always been safe, predictable. And Jake, he's exciting. He's a man who knows what he wants. And what he wants is me. I clenched my jaw so hard I thought my teeth might crack. So that's it. Years together, just tossed aside for a guy you barely know because he's famous. She sighed, like I was being the unreasonable one. It's not just about him being famous. It's about me, Adam. For once I'm choosing me. You never challenged me. You never pushed me. Jake makes me feel alive. I could not believe what I was hearing. So I was just a stepping stone until something better came along. Jake chuckled from the bed. Bingo, shut your mouth. I snapped at him, my voice low and dangerous. But he did not flinch. Of course not. Guys like him, they think they're untouchable. Jessica crossed her arms, leaning against the doorframe. Adam, let us not drag this out. I already called my lawyer. You'll be hearing from her soon. I laughed bitterly. Wow, you really planned this out. Huh? How long have you been sleeping with him behind my back? She did not even hesitate. 6 months, half a year. While I was working overtime, skipping nights out with friends because she wanted me home, sacrificing my dreams so she could chase hers. She was sneaking around with him. My knees almost buckled under the weight of it. Was any of it real? I whispered, did you ever love me? She stared at me for a moment, then shrugged, maybe once, but people change, Adam. I changed. Jake, clearly bored with the conversation, got up and walked past me, heading toward the bathroom. This is getting exhausting. Just wrap it up. Will you? I have an early shoot tomorrow. Jessica turned back to me, her expression softening for the first time since I got there. Look, Adam, you'll be fine. You're resilient. You'll move on, move on. I repeated, my voice barely a whisper. You blew up our life, Jessica. For what? For this. She sighed like I was a child throwing a tantrum. I need more than what you could give me. I'm sorry if that hurts, but it's the truth. I stared at her, my mind spinning, my heart breaking into a million pieces. But then something inside me shifted. The pain was still there. But now it was joined by something else, something colder. You know what, Jessica? I said quietly, stepping closer to her. She raised an eyebrow but did not move. You deserve him. You deserve every shallow, empty moment with him. Because one day when the excitement fades, when he moves on to the next pretty face, you'll realize what you threw away. She chuckled softly. Maybe, but at least I'll have stories to tell. I shook my head, backing away. You're unbelievable. She smirked. I know. I turned and walked out of the room, out of the house, and into the cold night air. But as I reached my car, something occurred to me. Jessica was not as clever as she thought. She left her iPad behind, and I had an idea. If she wanted to burn everything to the ground, fine. But she was not the only one who could play dirty. I sat in my car, gripping the steering wheel so tight, my knuckles turned white. My pulse pounded in my ears. But my mind was oddly clear now. Jessica thought she'd won. She thought she had all the control, leaving me shattered while she pranced around with her new trophy. But she underestimated me. She always did. The iPad sat on the passenger seat like a loaded weapon. Months of messages, photos, and videos. Proof. She did not even realize what she'd left behind in her rush to escape. I picked it up, scrolling through their conversations again, feeling every stab of betrayal like fresh wounds. And then I saw it. A message that made my blood run cold. See, not believe we pulled it off. He has no clue about the money. Love you, babe. Money? My stomach churned. What the hell was she talking about? I kept scrolling until I found another message from Jessica to Jake. He is too naive. I told him the savings were for a house upgrade. Can you believe he actually transferred everything into the joint account? Half of it is mine now. Once the divorce goes through, we reset. My breath caught in my throat. She was not just leaving me. She was robbing me blind. All the overtime, the years of saving, every penny I set aside for our future. Gone. Or at least that's what she thought. Rage surged through me. But it was not the blind fury I felt before. No, this was something more dangerous. Calculated. If Jessica wanted a war, she was going to get one. I started making calls. First to my lawyer. I did not care that it was after midnight. Then to my bank. I pulled every string, used every connection I had. By the time I was done, Jessica's little plan had hit a wall she never saw coming. The joint account frozen. My personal accounts secured. She'd get nothing. Not a single dime. But I was not finished. The next morning I called in sick to work. Not because I needed time to cry into my pillow, but because I had work to do. Jessica loved to be the center of attention. Her social media was her lifeline. And Jake, his reputation was everything. I had something they did not leverage. I scrolled through the iPad until I found exactly what I needed. A video. Jessica sitting on our bed. Laughing. Jake's voice in the background. God, if Adam ever found out, he'd lose his mind. Poor guy. So clueless. Jessica giggled. He is sweet, but boring. He actually thinks I'm at yoga when I'm with you. It is too easy. I emailed the video to myself, then to a few key people. Jessica's boss, who frowned upon workplace scandals. Jake's PR manager, who would lose his mind over this kind of exposure. And just for fun, Jessica's mother, who always thought I was not good enough for her perfect daughter. Let us see how perfect she thinks she is now. An hour later, my phone exploded with calls and texts. Jessica furious, demanding to know what I had done. Jake's team begging me to take down the video. Even her mother, leaving a voicemail full of disappointed sighs and passive-aggressive remarks. I ignored them all. Then my doorbell rang. I opened it to find Jessica, disheveled and frantic. "Are you out of your mind, Adam?" she hissed, shoving past me into the apartment. I crossed my arms, leaning against the door. "No, Jess. I think for the first time in a long time, I'm completely sane. You ruined everything," she snapped, pacing the living room. Jake's furious. My boss suspended me. My mother would not stop calling. "What the hell is wrong with you?" I chuckled darkly. "What's wrong with me? Are you serious right now? You lied to me, cheated on me, tried to steal from me, and you thought I'd just roll over and take it." She spun around, glaring at me. "You had no right to share that video. And you had no right to screw a movie star behind my back. Guess we were even." She stepped closer, her voice low and venomous. "You think this is over? You think you've won? Jake will fix this. He'll make sure you regret it." I leaned an inches from her face, my voice cold and steady. "I do not regret anything, Jess. But you will." Her eyes flickered with something I'd never seen before. Fear. She opened her mouth to speak but thought better of it. Instead, she grabbed her purse and stormed out. I stood there for a moment, letting the silence settle around me. This was not over. Not by a long shot. But for the first time in days, I felt something close to peace. If Jessica wanted to play dirty, she just met her match. The silence after Jessica left did not last long. My phone buzzed relentlessly with calls and messages. But I ignored them all. Except one. A blocked number. I stared at the screen for a moment before answering. "Adam," the voice on the other end was smooth, calculated. "Jake Morrison, you've made a mistake." I almost laughed. "Have I enlightened me? You think you're clever?" he continued, his tone dripping with arrogance. "But you do not know who you're dealing with. I can ruin you." I clenched my jaw, feeling the weight of every sleepless night and gut-wrenching moment since this nightmare started. "Ruin me? I'm not the one whose face is all over social media right now, Jake. I'm not the one whose brand is about to implode because of a scandal with a married woman." He chuckled softly, but I could hear the tension beneath it. "This little stunt of yours is cute, but it's temporary. Give it a week and no one will care. But you'll still be a nobody clinging to your pathetic revenge." I let his words hang in the air for a moment. "Maybe. But while you're busy buying your way out of this, you might want to check your bank accounts." There was a pause. "What?" I smiled, knowing I had his attention. "You know that fancy investment firm you've been bragging about? The one handling your millions? Turns out they're not too happy about reputational risks. Let's just say your accounts might be temporarily inaccessible." His voice hardened. "What did you do?" "Me? Nothing illegal. Just a few calls. A few concerned inquiries about their client's recent behavior. You'd be surprised how jumpy financial advisors get when their high-profile clients make headlines for the wrong reasons." Jake's breathing grew heavier. "You little careful." I cut him off. "You do not want to say something you'll regret." He exhaled sharply. "This is not over." "Looking forward to round 2, I replied, hanging up before he could respond. I knew Jake had power, but power is fragile when built on public perception. And right now, his pristine image was crumbling. But I was not naive. I knew he'd come after me with everything he had. The difference? I had nothing left to lose. An hour later, I sat at my kitchen table, sipping cold coffee. When there was a loud knock at my door, I opened it expecting Jessica, maybe even Jake. Instead, it was someone I had not seen in years, Noah, my old college roommate. "Dude," he said, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation. "I saw the video." "What the hell is going on?" I rubbed my temples. It's a long story. I've got time, he replied, sinking into my couch. I gave him the rundown, every ugly detail. When I finished, he leaned back whistling. Man, that's brutal. But you're not done. Are you? I looked at him surprised. What do you mean? Come on, Adam, you're not the type to sit back and let these two walk all over you. What's next? I had not thought that far. But now with Noah here, an idea began to form. Jessica and Jake think they can just move on, sweep this under the rug. But what if they could not? Noah grinned. I like where this is going. We stayed up all night piecing together a plan. Jessica had always loved attention. But Jake, his entire career depended on his spotless image. If there was one thing I knew about Hollywood, it was that scandals might fade. But the right scandal could stick forever. By morning, I had everything I needed. Jessica's emails, Jake's contracts, and a little something extra. A security camera video from the hotel they'd been using for their secret meetings. Turns out hotel staff are very accommodating when you know what to ask for. I sent the footage anonymously to every major media outlet. Not just the affair. Oh no, that would blow over. But Jake, screaming at a hotel employee who accidentally interrupted them, throwing a glass against the wall, threatening to have the worker fired. That was the gold mine, the perfect blend of celebrity meltdown and mistreatment of service workers. Within hours, it was everywhere. Jessica's name was dragged through the mud. But Jake, his reputation took the biggest hit. Brands started pulling out of deals. Fans turned on him, and social media was a feeding frenzy. Jessica called me, her voice frantic. Adam, what did you do? Just giving you the attention you always wanted. I replied coldly, you're ruining my life. She screamed. I chuckled softly. No, Jessica, I'm just holding up a mirror. You did this all by yourself. She sobbed on the other end. Please, Adam, I did not mean you did. I interrupted. And now you get to live with it. I hung up, feeling the weight lift off my shoulders. This was not about revenge anymore. It was about freedom. And finally, I felt free. I barely slept after sending that video to the press. But exhaustion did not matter. The moment my phone blew up with news alerts and frantic messages, I knew the chaos had begun. Jake Morrison, the untouchable Hollywood sweetheart, was now the centerpiece of a full-blown scandal. Not just for sleeping with a married woman, but for his raging glass-throwing meltdown at a hotel worker. The public loved him when he was charming and polished. Angry and entitled? Not so much. I scrolled through the comments online. Each one a tiny spark of satisfaction. Jake Morrison, abusing hotel staff, gross, cancelled. Jessica, who? She just blew up her marriage for that dude. Imagine cheating on your husband and still being the least interesting part of the scandal. Then came the statement from Jake's PR team, a classic non-apology apology about being under immense pressure and acting out of character. Yeah, right. But the damage was done. The endorsement deals? Dropping like flies. His upcoming movie? Postponed indefinitely. Jessica? Well, she was about to have a meltdown of her own. The first sign was her mother calling me. Again, I let it go to voicemail. Then came the text from mutual friends, asking what the hell was going on. But I did not care about any of that. I cared about the pounding on my door at 8 a.m. I opened it, and there she was. Jessica. Her makeup was smudged. Her hair a mess. And her eyes wild with fury. She shoved past me into the apartment without a word. Good morning to you too, I said dryly, closing the door behind her. What did you do? She screamed, spinning around to face me. I raised an eyebrow. Be specific. I've done a lot lately. She was shaking with anger. The video. The hotel. You ruined everything. I leaned against the wall, arms crossed. Ruined everything? Jessica. I'm not the one who torched our marriage and tried to steal half my savings. Her eyes narrowed. Jake's losing sponsors. His managers threatening to drop him. And me? My boss suspended me indefinitely because my personal drama reflects poorly on the company. I shrugged. Sounds like a you problem. She stepped closer, her voice low and dangerous. Undo it. I laughed. Actually laughed. Undo it. You think I have some magic undo button? This is not a bad haircut, Jess. It's your actions catching up with you. Her hands clenched into fists. You re-enjoying this, are not you? I tilted my head. You know what's funny? I thought revenge would feel better. But really it's just closure. Her lip curled. You think this is over? Jake will fix this hill. Jake, I interrupted, pulling out my phone. Funny you mention him. I opened the last text message I received. One from Jake himself. I held the screen up for her to see. Thanks for the heads up. She's all yours now. Not worth the trouble. Her face went pale. No. No, that's not, he would not. I sighed, slipping my phone back into my pocket. Looks like your exciting new life just fell apart faster than our marriage did. Her breathing quickened, panic settling in. He's leaving me. I nodded. Looks like tears welled up in her eyes. But I felt nothing. No sympathy. No guilt. Just nothing. She sat down on the couch, burying her face in her hands. I thought he loved me. I knelt down in front of her. My voice steady. No, Jessica. He loved the idea of you. The thrill, the secrecy. But when things got messy, he bailed. Just like you did when our life was not exciting enough for you. She looked up at me, eyes pleading. Adam, I messed up. Maybe we can. No. I cut her off, standing up. There's no we anymore. There has not been for a long time. She stood to desperation in her voice. Please, I do not have anywhere to go. I grabbed my keys from the table, heading for the door. Not my problem, Jess. Find Jake. Oh, wait. I smirked. Never mind. As I opened the door, she reached out, grabbing my arm. Adam, wait. I looked at her one last time. My voice cold and final. Goodbye, Jessica. I walked out, leaving her standing there, alone. And for the first time in months, I felt free. But I knew this was not the end. Not yet. Jessica was not done with me. And I was not done with her either, that I drove aimlessly through the city. The morning sun creeping up over the skyline, painting everything in this soft, golden glow that felt almost mocking. Freedom. I thought that's what I wanted. And maybe it was, but something nodded me, a whisper in the back of my mind that said, this is not over. Not yet. Jessica was not the type to go down quietly. And Jake, he had too much to lose to let me win. I knew the storm was not over. It was just gathering strength. I parked at a quiet coffee shop downtown, the kind of place no one really notices. I needed time to think, time to plan. Because if there was one thing I knew for sure, it was that both Jessica and Jake would come for me. And when they did, I had to be ready. Halfway through my second cup of coffee, my phone buzzed a known number. I let it ring. It buzzed again. And again, finally I answered. Adam, a familiar voice, but one I had not expected. Noah, my old friend from college, the one person who'd actually shown up when my life fell apart. Noah, I leaned back in my chair, confused. How do you get this number? Dude, he sounded rushed. We need to talk. Now, okay, what's going on? Not over the phone. Meet me at Griffith Park in an hour. Near the observatory. It's important. The line went dead before I could ask anything else. My gut twisted. Something was off. Noah was not the dramatic type. If he said it was important, it was an hour later. I was leaning against the hood of my car near the observatory, scanning the area. Finally, I spotted Noah weaving through the crowd. He looked tense, nervous. Okay. I said as soon as he got close, what's going on? He exhaled sharply, glancing around as if someone might be listening. Jessica, she's planning something big. I froze. What do you mean? He pulled out his phone, scrolling quickly before showing me a message. It was from Jessica. He thinks he's won. Cute. He does not know what's coming. I felt my blood turn to ice. When did she send this? Last night, Noah said, pocketing his phone. She messaged me out of the blue. I guess she thought I'd still be on her side. She's unhinged, man. She's talking about ruining your career, your life, everything. I let out a bitter laugh. My career, my life, she already took everything. Noah shook his head. No, she's got something else, something worse. I do not know what, but she mentioned a plan and Jake's involved. I clenched my fists. Of course he was. That coward would not dare face me head on. But from the shadows, that was his game. Thanks for the heads up, I muttered. Noah grabbed my arm. Adam, I'm serious. She's desperate. And desperate people are dangerous. I nodded, my mind racing. Desperate people were dangerous. And Jessica, she was the most dangerous of all. I spent the rest of the day trying to piece together what she might be planning. And then it hit me. She did not just want to ruin me. She wanted to bury me. Jessica knew my secrets. The things I never told anyone. The things I trusted her with. And if she wanted to destroy me, that's exactly where she'd strike. By nightfall, I was back at my apartment pacing. My phone buzzed. A text from Jessica. Enjoying your victory lap? Do not get too comfortable. I'm just getting started. I stared at the screen, feeling that familiar rage bubbling up. She thought she could still scare me, still control me. Not this time. I texted Noah, I need your help. It's time to end this. His reply came instantly. I'm in. What's the plan? I typed back. My fingers steady. My mind clear. We go after what she cares about most. Her reputation. And this time we do not hold back. Jessica wanted a war. She was about to get one. And when it was over, there'd be nothing left of the person she used to be. Nothing. The plan was risky, but at this point, I did not care. Jessica had already destroyed the life I thought I had. And now she was trying to finish me off completely. If she wanted war, she was about to see just how far I was willing to go. Noah and I spent the entire night piecing together every scrap of leverage we could find. Jessica's past was not spotless. And while she loved pretending to be the perfect, polished version of herself online, reality was much uglier. Noah grinned as he sifted through old social media posts, texts, and emails. Man, your ex has more skeletons than a Halloween store. Tell me something I do not know. I muttered, scrolling through my own stash of dirt. And then I found it. An old email from Jessica to her boss. I do not care what it takes. Just get rid of her. She's in my way. The her in question, a coworker who mysteriously got fired right after Jessica's big promotion. I always thought it was odd. But Jessica swore she had nothing to do with it. Turns out she was lying. Surprise, surprise. I showed Noah the email and his eyes widened. Dude. This is it. I nodded. Jessica's company prided itself on ethics and integrity. If they found out she sabotaged a colleague's career just to climb the corporate ladder, she'd be done. Noah grinned wickedly. Let us light the match. We packaged the email with a neat little bow and sent it anonymously to her company's HR department, her boss, and just for fun, the coworker she screwed over. It did not take long. The next morning, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. You crossed the line. You're going to regret this. Jessica, I smiled to myself. Not yet, Jess, but you will. Noah called me minutes later, barely able to contain his excitement. She's trending on Twitter, man. #JessicaGate is blowing up. I opened my phone and saw it for myself. Screenshots of the email were everywhere. People were tearing her apart. Typical backstabber. Imagine ruining someone's life for a promotion. And my favorite, Karma Sab Jessica, I almost felt bad for her. Almost then came the phone call I did not expect. Jake Morrison, I answered, bracing myself for another round of threats. Adam, he said, his voice quieter than I expected. We need to talk. I frowned. Pretty sure we repassed talking, Jake. I'm not calling to threaten you, he replied. I'm calling because I'm done. I blinked. Done, Jessica, he sighed. She's unhinged. She tried to drag me into her mess, threatened to expose me if I did not help her destroy you. I chuckled bitterly. Wow, loyalty at its finest. She does not care about me, man. Jake admitted she never did. She just wanted the status, the thrill. Now that things are falling apart, she's lashing out at everyone. Why are you telling me this? I asked suspiciously, because he sighed. I'm tired of the drama, tired of her, I'm backing off. But she's not. I exhaled sharply. What is she planning? There was a pause. Then Jake's voice dropped lower. She's trying to get you fired, said she has proof that you've been unstable at work. She's already talking to your boss. My blood ran cold. Jessica knew how much my job meant to me. It was the one thing I had left. She wanted to take that too. Thanks for the warning, I muttered, hanging up. Noah, who had been listening in, clenched his fists. We're not letting that happen. No, I agreed. We're not. But Jessica was not the only one with connections. I had a few of my own. And by the end of the day, my boss would know exactly what kind of person she really was. This war was not over, but Jessica was running out of moves. And I was just getting started. The moment I hung up with Jake, I knew the final move had to be mine. Jessica was desperate, clawing at whatever scraps of power she had left. But desperation made people sloppy. And Jessica, she was about to fall on her own sword. Noah sat across from me, leaning forward. So what's the play, man? She's coming for your job. We see not let that happen. I exhaled slowly. No, we see not. But we're not just going to stop her. We're going to make sure she never tries this again. I spent the next few hours making calls. Jessica thought she was untouchable, but she forgot one crucial detail. I knew her better than anyone. I knew her secrets, her fears, and most importantly, her weaknesses. I started with her company's HR department. Hi, this is Adam Pierce, I said, keeping my voice calm and professional. I understand that Jessica Miller has made some concerning allegations about me. I believe it's important that you know the full story before making any decisions. They were hesitant at first, protocol and all that. But when I mentioned the email scandal and her recent behavior, they listened closely. I sent over every piece of evidence I had. The text, the video, and even Jake's recorded call admitting that Jessica was orchestrating everything. By the end of the call, the HR manager's tone had shifted entirely. Thank you, Mr. Pierce. We'll be conducting a thorough investigation. Translation. Jessica's little scheme was dead on arrival. But I was not done. Not yet. Noah grinned as he watched me work. Man, remind me never to get on your bad side. Too late. I smirked. You still owe me $50 from college. He laughed. But we both knew this was not over until Jessica was out of moves. Later that night, my phone buzzed again. Jessica, I stared at the screen before answering. Adam, she started, her voice trembling. You ruined me. I leaned back in my chair. No, Jess, you did that all by yourself. Her breath hitched. My company fired me today. My reputation is in shambles. Jake would not even return my calls. And now you've made sure I see not even take you down with me. I did not respond. She was not looking for forgiveness. She was looking for pity. And I had none left to give. Was it worth it? She whispered, destroying me. I closed my eyes, feeling the weight of everything. You destroyed yourself, Jessica. I just made sure everyone saw it. There was silence on the line. Then, barely above a whisper, she said, I loved you once, you know. I swallowed hard. Maybe. But love is not supposed to hurt like this. She hung up without another word. And just like that, it was over. I sat there for a long time, staring at nothing, letting the emptiness settle in. Noah walked over, patting my shoulder. You okay? I nodded slowly. Yeah, I think I am. Jessica was gone. The storm had passed. And as the sun rose the next morning, I realized something. Revenge was not sweet. It was quiet, final. And now I was free, finally free.